have one more piece to show we want to share with you, and it's the Amherst Live Poetry Prize. And I should say a couple words about the prize before we get to it. Basically, the idea behind the Poetry Prize, it began with a feeling that there is this kind of criminal underuse of poetry as a form. When you kind of look out at the media landscape, or you turn on a TV and you tune into CNN or whatever, the feeling was that you could pretty much improve any given show by pulling out any given talking head and dropping a poet in there. So it just seemed like there was this enormous kind of screaming deficit, and we're lucky enough to be in a position to do something about it. You know, I think it's not really fair to blame the poets for this shortfall. I think that poets, like anyone, will respond to what is expected of them. So we wanted to make it clear that we have extremely high expectations from our poets, and that they actually have a service to fulfill for us as a community, and for our discourse as a community, and ultimately as a nation. And so we started this prize. We brought in all kinds of submissions and had a very difficult time. We winnowed it down to 2 poems, and we're going to present them here for you tonight. There's a couple twists. The first is that we decided to invite the poets to select someone to read their poem for them. This way, at least one person walks away from this evening or two with having to memorize a poem, and the universe likes that when poems are memorized. And the second thing is that you decide, basically. So this is kind of for you to claim. We're going to bring the poems out here. You can hear them. And then when they're done, you tell us which one you like the best. So we're going to start with a poem by Lynne Francis called Pomegranate Tart. It's going to be read by her reader, Floyd Chung. Please welcome Floyd.
Pomegranate Tart by Lynne Francis. Our daughter has come on the train from New York with a pomegranate tart in her lap. She bursts into the kitchen, bearing it up, a crown of snowy ermine ringed in garnet jewels. Her hands, still stained a startling iridescent pink from shimmying seeds out of pale catacombs, peek out from last year's coat sleeves. She lays the beautiful thing on the counter with relief, and before we kiss hello, we coo over its stunning architecture, the surreal look of perfect ruby seeds pressed against the sides of a snowbank of cream cheese, eggs, and sugar. The flat center looks like a rink before the skaters arrive, glossy, unetched, pristine. The oven in her Hell's Kitchen walk-up is small and unreliable. Her counter is a drawing board laid over the bathroom sink. How did this miraculous thing emerge from that kitchen looking like something from Saveur? How did it survive the cab ride at 6 a.m., the ticket line at Penn Station, the jostling for a seat, and the unexpected change to a shuttle in Hartford? The old centerpiece is whisked away. We make room for this gift from the eldest daughter, distant sister, who, in years past, stayed in the city or just brought wine.
Okay, bear that in mind. We have one more reader. We're going to bring out Catherine Glatter reading a poem by Beth Filson called Creation Story.
Creation Story by Beth Filson. God rolled the world around in her mouth like butterscotch candy. It was so good, so sweet. She hated to spit it out. But when she did, this is the world that was made. 2 people walking on the bluff. A dog to give them grace. Then God slung the blue heron out over the marsh at high tide to give the world its heart. The marsh grass knitted its long fingers together, and the shrimp were made, and many small birds went out into the sky. Tall grass hid the kindling spirit. Raccoons, possums, deer. Low tide revealed our earthen homes, blue crabs, flounder, oysters with their wet tongues.
Okay, so now for you remains the difficult task of figuring out which of these poems deserves the Audience Choice Award. We tried to figure out the best way to register your preference, and ultimately we came back to the applause meter, which I'm holding in my hand. So I'll say the name of the poem, and those of you who like it, clap as hard as you can. And I've been warned, someone told me that, they said, I guarantee you that the second group is going to clap harder than the first because they're going to be competing with the first. So whoever goes first, bear that in mind and don't let yourself be outdone. So if you liked Lynne Francis's poem, A Pomegranate Tart, give it up. Okay, and if you liked Beth Filson's poem, now's your time. Dan, could we have a little suspenseful music while I pretend to calculate the data? It looks like Pomegranate Tart wins. And that's it for this edition of Amherst Live. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I do want to thank some people specifically here. This incredible team of talented people who made it possible. Liesl DeBoer, our director. Hugh Hall, our technical director. Mark Wotan, our video director. Don Bechtold on lighting up there with help from Penny Remsen and Pamela McCadden. Elaine Stoneham and Dana DeLees, our stagehands, without whom none of this could have happened. Jason Raboyne in the back, the best sound man in the valley. If you have any music sound needs, please go see him. Pete Chilton, our designer. Sheila Sirgusa, our performance coach. Tom Porter, the money guy. And of course, our various contributors, Casey, Kathy, and Bear, and the house band over here, Dan Hales and the Frosties. Daniel has some merch available in the lobby, as does Dennis, so I encourage you to go give them well-deserved money. And so let's thank Dennis Crommett as well, our poets Beth Filson, Lynne Francis, and their readers, and your neighbors in mine, Lisa DePiano and Farmer Dan Kaplan. Finally, we really need to thank our extraordinary sponsors. They're the ones who really made this possible. High Horse Brewing out there downtown Amherst. They make great beer local. Integrity Development and Construction, providing fine craftsmanship and exceptional customer service in the Pioneer Valley for 20 years. If you are doing any kind of building, please go see them. They're great people. Whole Foods Market in Hadley, supporting the community for 30 years and counting. An enormous resource for us. Bueno Isanio, making people truly happy since 1995. Rayo's Coffee, which in many ways was the birthplace of Amherst Live. The best premium coffee beans from around the world. Amherst's own Chamber of Commerce. Tony Maroulis was the first man on board this program. He stepped right in. 500 member businesses and institutions make Amherst a perfect place to live, work, and play. Camden Sound, Jason Raboyne in the back is the man. Professional sound engineering for live performance in the Valley. Theatrics in Belchertown, full-service production house supplying lights, sound, staging for performing arts in the Valley and beyond. And of course, a really big thanks to Amherst College. Another huge resource, and an extra helping of love for John Doyle, the technical director at Kirby, and also Kathy Couch, the lighting director, and also Jim Brassard, who opened the doors here for us and made this whole thing possible. So this has been Amherst Live. We like to think of Amherst Live as a municipal service to the people in the Valley. If you want Amherst Live to continue with another issue this spring, get in touch with us online at amherstlive.com. Let us know what you think. Help us make it happen. In the meantime, stick around. We'll probably be out in the lobby doing some interviews, picking up some B-roll. It should be fun. Our poets will be wandering out there. If you want to meet them, someone will point them out to you. Like I said, this great merch from Daniel Hales and the Frost Heaves, and also Dennis Cromit. And of course, we've got beer from the High Horse and lots to talk about. I'm told there's going to be an after party after this one over at the High Horse, so please join us there. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
And if you close the door, the night could last forever. Leave the sun shine out and say hello.